Dissonant Love is probably coming out in October, but I'm definitely returning to it by September. No matter what, I'm going to be working on guidance during the work week up until that time in September when I come back to Dissonant Love, regardless of how much progress I have or have not made. I finished a glorified cutscene recently, which is exciting. I started it 2 years ago. That's ridiculous. And I'm going to keep you somewhat posted and updated. Okay, you can watch the ramblings now. Please do. I think I was interesting, I hope. I randomly talk about semi-unrelated subjects. God, how do I start this? Okay. After 2 years, I'm finally done with that glorified interactive cutscene. Yay. Anyways. So yeah, I've been, hi, how's it going? I can't believe it's been that long since I started work on that. Now, in the meantime, I've, taken large portions of time doing absolutely nothing, for the game, making other games, doing all sorts of other projects, revamping the entire combat system from the pretty much almost the ground up, basically, and updating the demo a lot. So I've done a lot in the past 2 years, but I haven't made very much forward progress on, like, the overarching plot, like, new cutscenes, new sections, stuff like that, in, like, 2 years. So, yeah, that's kind of crazy to realize that. How long have I been working on this game? I can't remember. I kind of don't want to know. Which, as always, I will say the vast majority of this game's development time has been not working on the game. So there's a few things I want to talk about here. Some news involving guidance, some news involving Dissonant Love, which is that little game jam game that wasn't as little as I'd initially thought it would be, which is always it's always the case, isn't it? So I want to talk a bit about both of those and what we can expect moving forward, some of what I'm trying, and I also want to talk a little bit about some of the challenges I've faced involving Chapter 2, and I think part of why it's been so hard to just move forward on it. Because one of the things with Chapter 1 is I didn't really wrestle with anything very much. I just kind of flowed with it and made it. But, well, I'm gonna get to that in a little bit. But we're gonna be starting with, talking about Dissonant Love and guidance and my development path plans for that. I expect to be working on guidance pretty consistently, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about my work schedule that I'm trying, and I'm going to keep playing with it until I find something that doesn't burn me out, that allows me to make consistent progress. And, I'm going to be working on guidance fairly consistently up until September, and that's my current plan. And I think we should see a lot of new progress, and some of that I will share, some of that I will not. Even if you are in the little playtester group, which I have, which that was very much a success. I don't know if I ever mentioned that. I probably did, but very much a success. The little group of playtesters that I had. For the updates to the demo and a lot of that, they definitely helped with that and all of that. So is that, but the reason why I'm going to be shifting focus away from guidance in September is because that is when I'm going to shift focus back to Dissonant Love. So that's I have the good news. I'm going to be doing a lot of guidance. The bad news is Dissonant Love is coming out in October. And like, I know. It's like, oh man, like, but you released the demo and like, you know, it's like the game just needs a little bit more time to cook, and it really does. I think I could finish it in like a month. But this was a decision I made a little while ago, and I've been waiting to talk about it, in part because I wanted to actually get into working on guidance again before I told you guys, because like, I wanted to. This is just a thing with me, is like, because I don't want to keep saying I'm gonna do this thing and then not do it. It sucks. Which is something I've struggled a lot with throughout my life. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about why I think the second sort of section, because guidance is divided into basically 3 sections of its plot. There's sort of 3 arcs to it. I guess there is the 3-act structure, but anyways, saying like I have to defeat, saying I have to finish Dissonant Love before I start working on guidance again is realistically like, I kind of had 2 options. I could say that. I could try to work on the game at the same time. Both games, not gonna happen, not gonna work. Or I could say, here's a date in the future that I'm going to be working on Dissonant Love. But if I made it too soon, then it would just be too stressful. So I decided October, Halloween, Spookies, I'll come back to Dissonant Love in September, and hopefully have the game out by the end of October. That's the plan. If it takes a little longer, that's okay. I'm going to push through and get that finished. But I'm going to be focusing on guidance for just generally overall up until September, and I'm going to be working on it consistently. So that's my reasoning. For those who are excited for the rest of Dissonant Love, I am sorry, you're going to have to wait a bit, but I do have a concrete, solid plan. I don't care how much progress I have or have not made on guidance by that point. It is a fixed time that I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to come back to it in September is when I'm going to come back to it. I might actually take a little break, just for a couple weeks, first, but I'm gonna come back to it in September, and that's the plan. So you have a fixed time frame of when I'm coming back to Dissonant Love, unlike Closure, which is like off somewhere in the distance. Maybe after I finish guidance, I might get back into that. So, which, yeah, I don't know exactly when I'm going to come back to Closure. I know I'm going to. Because, hold on, I have some music in the background and there's an ad I want to skip. Alright, yeah, I'm just going to turn off my volume for a second. Because it's being annoying. Yeah, okay. Sorry. I don't know how much I'm going to edit this. I might not cut that out. But, yeah, this is just kind of a chat. This is just a casual chat, and I might actually loop this music so I don't have to worry about like having the music get interrupted by an ad. I'll just loop this one song, so it'll be fine. But anyways, yeah, so there's a fixed date for Dissonant Love when I'm coming back. I'm going to be coming back in September, so regardless of what happens, what does or doesn't happen with guidance. So that's the first thing. And then as for Closure, because I did mention it, so I probably should talk about it. Probably after I finish guidance, it's going to be my passion project that I work on when I'm not doing other things. And that's what I want it to be. But I have some really vivid ideas for it that I really want to see come to life. So I think that's going to happen. But don't count on it. I am going to recommend that you kind of don't count on the game. When a new chapter comes out, a new chapter will come out, and that'll be whenever it's going to be. Treat it like it's Half-Life 3. Which, who knows when that isn't going to be well-aged anymore. Hopefully not too far in the future, but hopefully not too soon, because I have a lot of games that I want to play that are coming out now that are exciting, and I wouldn't want Half-Life 3 to come in at the same time. It's like, man, like, I'm so glad and excited, but, like, I have these other games that I'm excited for right now. It's too many great games. I mean, great. I would hope it would be great. I would certainly hope. I imagine it would be. I imagine it would be. But, anyways, we will be getting new Half-Life in the future. I'm sure of it. We will. It's just a matter of time. But, now I've lost my train of thought. This is bad. Okay, I've explained Dissonant Love. I explained my reason. I explained my plans. I mentioned closure. Okay, let's talk a bit about the guidance dev and some of the challenges. Okay, so there is a little bit of a spoiler, but not, I don't think too big of a spoiler. This particular section I've been working on for the past 2 years, although hardly any of that time was spent actually working on it. Most of it was spent procrastinating on it, working on other things within guidance, etc., etc. So it's been, I started it 2 years ago is really the right way to put it, which is insane. I can't believe that. But, yeah. So there's a few challenges. One of the first things is I decided I wanted to overhaul the combat, and I decided I should do that first because there's a battle coming up, and I'm like, should I make another battle, like a little mini-boss thing, before I overhaul the combat when I know I'm going to overhaul the combat? And I decided no. So I went and overhauled the combat. And also tried to make a side story demo that I ended up then scrapping and deciding not to do, and then decided to go straight to updating the original demo. So I did a lot of guidance stuff in between that, but I know that starting chapter 2, not starting chapter 2, but the studio in particular, I really procrastinated on it so much. And I think there's a lot of layers to why that is. But I think one of the big things is that chapter 2 has some really big, I really don't want to spoil anything, but it's got some stuff that if I do it wrong, it's going to feel really cheap. And it's got some stuff that's really tricky to do. And it is player choice related. It is. There are some very difficult character arcs, character dynamics, some things that need to happen, and need to happen a certain way, and I need to get the player to feel a certain way at certain times, and there's just so much that goes into figuring out how to make the structure of Chapter 2 work. Chapter 1, I was introducing the world, the story, the characters, and bringing up some fun mysteries. And Chapter 3 is going to be sort of the aftermath of Chapter 2 in a lot of ways. And it is going to be kind of pretty different. And actually, I've been thinking about making it very different. So I don't know, we'll see, depending on what happens. But Chapter 2 has got some really tricky character arc stuff, some tricky player choice stuff, and figuring out how to make that all work in a way that's going to feel good is something I have wrestled with, that I've come back to wrestle with many, many times throughout the past couple years. And I think that's part of why I do. And I keep getting better, I think. I keep getting close to figuring out how I want to make that work. And I think it's going to be very worth it. I'm working on the game again. I'm very excited and very happy with what I've made. Like, I feel like I've picked up right where I left off with this glorified cutscene. And it is a glorified cutscene, but it is also a little bit more than just a cutscene. But the bulk of what actually makes it difficult is already finished. It was finished a long time ago. It was finished almost 2 years ago, I think. But, you know, so I've been working on that for the past couple weeks. And I think I really just need to move forward. I also want to move backward and rework some of the stuff leading up to Chapter 2, but I think it's some of the stuff leading up to the studio. You don't just, like, as soon as you don't just, like, get off the bus, walk straight into the studio. You don't do that. You go through some other stuff first. And I have some ideas on how to really sort of flesh out those areas before that set things up, that set the stage for some of the themes and what Chapter 2 is exploring, I think, a lot better. And just put you in the world and the space so much more. And I think that'll be worth being one of my next areas of focus. But while I'm doing that, I'm also going to be focusing on some of the levels in Chapter 2. So I'm going to kind of alternate between that a bit, I think. I don't know. But I've got sort of those things in my radar as like the next things I'm going to be working on. And I'm going to be honest with you, the mini-boss part of that glorified cutscene still isn't finished. It's mostly finished, okay? It introduces a new skill, a new concept, which is something I only just decided in the past couple weeks, but it fits perfectly. And it feels like a really great time to bring that skill out. It's been in my list of skills the player will get for a while, but I feel like it's a great time to pull it out. So I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about those sort of some of the gameplay mechanics that I can play with that could be really fun. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like I should have been able to finish the tail end of a cutscene within a week, but I didn't. I went overtime. Not overtime, but it bled into this last week. I say the last couple weeks. I mean, last week, Monday through Friday, and then this week, Monday through now, which is time of recording this, it is Thursday, so close to a couple weeks. I've been working on it consistently. And that actually brings me over to my new schedule idea that I'm kind of trying. Is crazy. You're not going to believe this. It's going to blow you away. This is never before heard of. An ordinary work week. To prevent burnout. It's basically. But like Monday, I sit down and I'm like, what do I want to do this week? And then that's it. That's all I do. And then the rest of the days, I do the stuff I have planned. Almost. Almost. And then Friday is for wrapping up whatever's left that I didn't do. Although I am noticing that actually Wednesday, it is every time Wednesday. I just kind of, I don't know what it is. And I know I can do so much more, right? Like when I was doing the game jam for Dissonant Love, like when I am like locked in, like compared to what I'm getting done right now, I get done so much more. But there's a few things that happen when I do that, which it's like it feels really good in a way, but there's a few things. My anxiety is generally, it starts to go up, and I'm much more agitated, I'm much more short-tempered, and I am incredibly burnt out when the moment I'm no longer locked in. And so it's just not sustainable. But it's still frustrating that I'm like, I can finish the tail end of a cutscene in a week, right? I can do that. But, well, I have to go back, I have to play the cutscene again, and then and the thing is I did things last week. I remade some sprites and did some different stuff that I didn't plan to do. So it balances out. But it's still a little frustrating that I feel like I'm not doing as much as I could. And even then, like I'm not even planning to do that much, and I'm still struggling, even leaving Friday open to finishing everything else. Although, to be fair, like last week, I did think, oh, I'll just watch the Switch 2 Direct on break, like sort of in between, working on this and working on that part of things. And I somehow expected to then just go right back to what I was doing. That was stupid. I proceeded to spend most of the rest of the day just hyped over and hyperfixated on everything I saw in that Direct, and then proceeded to spend the rest of the week spending a great deal of time watching Topic Arlo videos. Just getting all caught up in the news cycle and sort of the drama and sort of just the hype and just sort of the all of it. So just super into that, and I am very excited and also a little nervous and a little disappointed. There are some tough pills to swallow. I am I'm gonna, as long as I'm bringing it up though, look, do not buy Mario Kart for $80, okay? Get the bundle if you want the game. Please do not convince them that that's okay. maybe it really is worth $80, but even then, man, like the only game I'd be willing to buy for $80 is Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, because it looks like it has both the regular game and the DLC, right? Which is $100 is a full package, which, you know, I would say that the base game obviously is more than worth $60, and the DLC, while I haven't finished it yet, I do not regret paying $40 for it at all. And actually, that's after I finish my Terraria playthrough, which you can see the footages in the background. That's actually the next game I want to get back into. I want to get back into the DLC. I'm excited to play that again. I really want to get back into that. But anyways, that's really off topic. I'm sorry. I've just been thinking about that stuff so much. I haven't got the chance to actually talk to someone about it very much. So there you go. You came for guidance news and you got Switch 2 opinions. But I'm excited. I'm excited for it. And I think that's going to be really cool. So that I kind of got really caught up in that, and that killed my productivity for my first week of the new work week plan thing that I'm trying. But I'm going to keep just sort of experimenting and just trying to find the most sustainable way to consistently work on the game. And I'm still just starting with that, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. And of course the weekends are off. I can, if I really want, like if I'm like, ooh, I have this idea for a sprite or a song, or I want to write this down, or I want to do this or whatever, I just feel really inspired. I can, but I don't have to, and I'm not putting any pressure on myself to. And all, quite the opposite. I'm like expecting the weekends. I don't work on guidance. And Monday I only plan what I'm gonna do for the rest of the week. So, it's a very relaxed work week. But certainly, I think that art and game development, and especially like when it's something you're really passionate about, takes so much more creative and just mental energy that it's very different than like grinding or whatever. It's just not the same. And I think that it's more sustainable to really give myself a lot of space, not focus on deadlines, and instead focus on just keep working on the game, just keep doing things, keep thinking about what you want to do, keep expanding, just continue the project, just continue it. And that's something I've been finding, that I'm not excited to finish guidance, I'm excited to continue. I'm excited to keep going, to keep moving forward. I have things that I see, that I feel, that I'm excited for, that I want to go there. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling the hype about my own game, and God, that feels good. It does. But I'm excited. Yeah, I'm gonna, as soon as I finish recording this, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make that little battle. I was thinking about maybe like putting that off for tomorrow, but I think I'm gonna finish it. It's not very much, like just a little bit of dialogue saying, oh, that's a thing, and then I just gotta give the enemy a few skills that I've already made and maybe tweak it a little bit to balance it out, and it's fine. And then it's done. This section I've been mostly not working on for the past 2 years, which is crazy, is done. That feels good. That feels good. And I can start working on, some of the puzzle ideas that I had. I can start, fleshing out some of the environmental details. I'm planning on doing some concept art for them, actually. And that's something I planned out. I'm probably going to work on some concept art tomorrow. And I don't know if I'm going to share it. I might. We'll see. I'm going to hopefully have more fun little things I can just drop in and be like, hey, look, here's a little thing I made out of context. Because some stuff, like, I can spoil. Some stuff I really don't want to, right? And I hope I haven't spoiled too much already. But, like, it feels good to talk about. Like, there are some really tricky things to do coming up in Chapter 2. And I think once the game's finished, it'll make a lot of sense. And I hope I haven't spoiled too much. And if I have, I hope you all forget most of what I said about what's tricky, so that will then be undone by the time you play the game. And considering the current rate, it'll probably be 10 years, so I'm sure you'll forget I even exist by the time this game comes out. But... I just have perpetual allergies, so... And I also cough when I laugh too hard. But... yeah, so... but yeah, I really want to make sure I do it right. And you want to know something? I think it's going to be really good. Like, if I manage to nail this... I don't know, I think if I were in your position, I would be blown away. Like, just... hopefully. I don't want to hype people up too much. I don't want to set, like, crazy high expectations. But, like, I mean, compared to... and that's if I were me. You're not me. So maybe you have completely different tastes when it comes to these things in particular, and you're going to hate it. I don't know. But I just know that I am really excited. And that just what I'm going for and what I'm trying to do, I think is going to be really effective. And kind of unique. There's definitely some things... look, guidance, I'm going to say it. I'm not afraid to say it. Okay, I'm a little afraid to say it, but guidance's bones are derivative. They are. They absolutely are. From the beginning, I was like looking at Undertale and Deltarune and being like, how can I emulate that feeling, that vibe from the beginning? But as I've, you know, continued to just expand and flesh out and play with the ideas, I feel like there's a lot there that's really very me. And distinctly me. And special. And I think there's going to be some stuff that's unique that maybe you haven't really seen before, or at least not seen that way. And I certainly hope so. And if you have, I don't know how to phrase that, but yeah. And hopefully, like, not just that, but executed well. Executed really well. And I'm excited for that. I think there's going to be some pretty emotionally impactful stuff. And I'm excited for that. And I think there's going to be some really fun stuff. And I'm getting some ideas again recently for, like, mechanics things I could try and play with. And I think that'll be really fun. And of course, still... plenty of humor that's not going anywhere. I mean, to me, I think a big part of what helps you fall in love with characters and really care is when they make you laugh, because then you like them and it endears you to them, and then it goes serious and you're like, oh, and like I care about you because you've made me laugh, you've endeared yourself to me, and now you go serious mode and I care, I'm invested, right? I think that's a part of it. To me, humor and heart and heartbreak and tragedy and this beautiful, cruel world and, you know, disturbing stuff that's kind of twisted and all of that, it all just goes together, you know? Even though it's all like this, you know, it's wild to me that however many years ago, the idea of mixing these things together was considered kind of weird. But frankly, it's not. It never was. It never was. I mean, look at all, like, the great works of literature and stuff. They explore everything. So, you know, I was thinking more specifically the movie industry, actually. In the past, it was considered pretty strange. Like, well, horror comedy? You can't do that. And it's like, sure you can. But yeah, I think that humor really endears you to the characters. So that's not going anywhere. But I think there's going to be some pretty emotionally impactful stuff. That's all I'm going to say. I think regarding that. I've been very vague, and hopefully I've been vague enough. But, yeah, I'm very excited, and I'm gonna go work on that, I think. Now, yeah. So good talk. Hope you had a nice day or night or whatever. And good luck with whatever it is you're currently doing. And if you're not doing anything right now and you're bored out of your mind or depressed or something, good luck on finding something that gives you something to do. And hang in there. You know, there's certainly a lot of, you know, well, I mean, I know it's been on my mind a lot. More so than I wish. Just sort of, you know, larger world things, you know. I was about to say, you know, I know that there's not fun stuff going on right now. Just, you know, wherever you are, I think for everyone, there's definitely some not fun stuff going on right now. But I was like, oh no, it's the cliche. And I know current situation or whatever. I'm like, I don't want to do that. But, you know, just hang in there and focus on what you can do to make life positive for, you know, yourself and for others. You know, I mean, like I said recently, you know, little acts of kindness go a long way. They mean a lot. And, you know, they mean a lot to me. I mean, I've had people say that I inspired them. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I haven't even finished, like, my main game yet. What are you talking about? What are you talking... What? I'm your inspiration? What? What are you talking about? I'm not supposed to be that yet. I mean, even if necessarily ever, but like, what? And that just makes my day. So thank you. Thank you for telling me that. That meant so much. It's so sweet. So thank you. And I realize how actually kind of stupid that sounds, because I'm like, you know, saying something inspirational and then saying I don't understand why people have said I inspire them. That sounds so dumb. But like, I was talking about a little bit of a different kind of thing. I was talking about art inspiration more, I think. I assume. I don't know. Anyways, because I like see myself as not really having made it as an artist. Like, I'm doing stuff for fun. You know what I mean? I make, you know, like, roughly $20 a month. I think I'm not supposed to disclose exactly how much I make from Game Jolt, but I can say roughly, probably. I make more than that, generally speaking, but not by a ton. Not by a ton. Only a couple grand. Maybe you know, a small sum of $1 million. So no, obviously not. I did make like $80 that one time, but that was that one time. That was a good time though. Let's do that again. That was nice. Nah, I'm fine. I don't need that. I'm gonna look into getting like a part-time job or something. There's a lot of real life things I'm trying to move forward onto right now. Like just adulting thing, mostly boring adulting things that just kind of need to be done just to adult properly, which I've been procrastinating on those to go figure. It's basically my personality trait. But like, it's like, what's your Undertale soul trait? Mine is procrastination. I will always be determined to do it, but you know, eventually. No. Like that's my vice. But you know what? My determination's stronger than that sometimes. Sometimes. Enough. Just enough that it will get there eventually. It just takes some time. And I can only be getting so many places at once. So you just gotta balance that out, figure that out. I feel like I've gone kind of off topic at this point. I'm just rambling. I've been rambling for 10 minutes. The actual news has been over for 10 minutes. So yeah. Dissonant Love is probably coming out in October, but I'm definitely returning to it by September. No matter what, I'm going to be working on guidance during the work week up until that time in September when I come back to Dissonant Love, regardless of how much progress I have or have not made. I finished a glorified cutscene recently, which is exciting. I started it 2 years ago. That's ridiculous. And I'm gonna keep you somewhat posted and updated. Okay, you can watch the ramblings now. Please do. I think I was interesting, I hope. I randomly talk about semi-unrelated subjects. So yeah. I'm just gonna edit that into the front, just for the people who don't want to be bored out of their mind by my ramblings. But if you enjoyed putting me on in the background while you did some other stuff, then I'm glad I made some good background noise for you. I see you, I'm in your walls. So, anyways, yeah, that's enough rambling from me. I should do this more often. I should do a podcast. Not like a podcast with other people, just with like me. Just me podcasting. I'd be great at it. I would be really good at it. I'm great at just talking about things. And just not stopping. It's like I cannot stop